welcome to 4TW Live Special Edition. Yeah.
Hey.
It's been a while, but the big news came down this week. The news I know Mario and I have both been waiting for. The reveal of the Nintendo NX.
Yes.
Yes. Although it's not called the NX anymore, is it?
Nope.
Ah, what is it called?
The Nintendo Switch.
That's right, the Switch. Now, a government out of the history of names of Nintendo consoles is probably middlesome, maybe slightly more positive than Wii or Wii U. I think Switch is a much better name than anything we've gotten previously. What do you think?
Thank goodness it's not called the Super Wii U. Thank God.
Oh, I the new Super Nintendo Wii, yeah, the Wii U 64,
Nintendo Super
the Wii 64,
Wii U.
the Wii 64.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and watch the trailer and see what they got so far. So let me switch over to that. Why don't you go ahead and pull? You got the trailer pulled up?
I got it pulled up on YouTube. That's no problem.
That's fine. Let me switch.
I can look at it here.
Myself, and here we go. And I'm switching over.
I'll go ahead and mute it on my end.
That's fine. There. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm muting the audio, by the way, so I don't get DMCA'd on it. Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go.
Is it already showing Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. I muted the mic on XSplit. I'm like, oh wait, if I do that, it mutes you.
Clink. And here he goes. Takes out his dog.
There we go. The Switch. Now here's the big thing.
And disconnects it right from the controller, and then puts it onto the actual unit.
That's right. It's a tablet, people. The Nintendo Switch is a tablet. Not like the Wii U, where everyone thought it was a tablet, but in reality it was a real console, and the tablet was just an additional screen and controller. This system is actually a tablet. So, will this mean the end? And there's a big thing right there.
The cartridge.
Cartridges. It uses cartridges, no discs.
Dang right. Goodbye disc, man. Goodbye slow loading.
From a lot of what I heard, the big thing with the cartridges is that they can technically be infinite in size. As long as memory capacity increases, they can keep increasing the size of the cartridges. You can't do that with disc.
Nope. The only thing I kind of wonder about is pricing to the games then. Are the games going to be standardized on one price no matter what size it goes up to?
From what I heard, the company that was making the chips for the N64, they're doing these too, and they can get the chips for the same price as a Blu-ray.
Wow. That's not bad. That's really good.
Yep, they can get it. They can make it for the same price.
I'm playing it on the car.
Memory chips aren't that expensive.
Oh, it's.
I mean, it's expensive for us, but you know the wholesale price
way down in price, though. I mean, over these last 20 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play some hoops. Now, there is one interesting thing about this video. What have you not seen in this video?
Not one family member nor kid.
Exactly. This is Nintendo finally saying we're going to go after the adult market.
I think that was the way they had to bring it out on the first trailer. They had to make sure that this thing could cater, to what it looks like. Anybody from the age, at least here, it looks like in their young 20s, maybe their early 30s, I would want to say. So it's close to our generation where they're trying to hit the mark.
Yeah, these look like millennials playing it mostly.
At least in the 22, 25-year-old.
Girls don't play video games. What the hell?
No. Yeah.
I like this here.
I like this one because this one gets interesting. It's like, okay, you're not really going to get to like maybe that point going to a tournament, but if you ever do, I mean, you got to kind of admit the setup is pretty small. Oh, I love it too, man. But it's interesting. If you can bring, if the whole console plus the docking station is something that doesn't even take up much space.
Oh, yeah, everyone's going to show up to watch people play Splatoon. Oh, yeah, I totally see that.
Everyone just, puts it right on. Let's go. And using the Pro controller.
I like the Pro controller. It looks more like the Xbox One.
It looks kind of like that. It really, which one it reminds me the most of? The shape of it reminds me more of the Xbox original second controller.
There we go, coming in March. So let's take a look at the videos real quick and what we got on the actual system. So let's go through the video bit by bit. So we'll start off with right here where he's playing Breath of the Wild, which will be a launch title. I can't wait for it. I hope there's a special Zelda edition of the system when it launches.
Oh, that'd be great.
And here's him taking his giant dog out for a walk. And
Great Dane.
And let me pause right there. Let's look at this actual controller. What is it connected to? Is that a battery pack?
The part that he
or is it the transmitter
off,
for the controllers to the console?
It's possibly that, because once those things are, although it could actually be the battery, some type of external battery to it, because I do know that they are battery powered somehow.
Yeah.
So if you were to put it in this sliding controller accessory, according to what it looks like, I'm either taking a decent guess. Those light indicators could indicate that it's connected and it's got full charge.
But we've also seen later on them using the controllers without the base station.
Oh yeah, exactly. And at that point, I think maybe the console will have to display to say, "Oh, your left controller is low on power, or your right controller is low," or something like that.
And slide on, and bam, there you go.
There we
you
go.
are walking
Boom.
around with a tablet with controllers. All right.
You know what I love about it? It's just it's subtle, but you know what the heck it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the big couple of questions I have about this so far, based on what I see right here. I like how it's a plus and minus at the top.
I know, yeah. I wonder what those are going to end up doing too.
And notice there is something very noticeably missing on this controller.
Okay, what would it? I know we got the home button on one end. There's another button that's a mystery one on the other side. Are we talking about the camera?
There's no crosshatch. This is the first Nintendo controller I have ever seen with no crosshatch.
With no crosshatch. Okay, I see. I just don't know from what they're
all the little amiibos in there.
Yeah, I know.
I hope it's not called like Mario Switch.
I'm not sure. I mean, Nintendo hasn't exactly called all of their game titles from the console since the N64.
They have with the Mario series.
Well, what? Like Mario Sunshine,
New Super
not
Mario
Mario
Brothers
Q.
U, New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Super Mario Brothers DS. Yeah.
All right, a couple titles, but not like Zelda, Switch.
No, Zelda.
Or like
they've
Kirby
never done
Switch or something like that. Because like on the N64, they 64'd every title almost.
Yeah, I want to see this big competition with Splatoon where everyone's a thing. And here's the thing, yeah. See, the one thing I did notice is the controller layout here. The analog sticks are where they're at on an Xbox.
Exactly, which I believe
on the Wii U, the Pro controller, the sticks were over up at the top, where the where the buttons are. They moved it more in line with. It actually reminds me of the classic controller.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, and the crosshatch is back. But it looks like that's what they're emulating, is more like an Xbox kind of thing.
And that's fine. I'd rather them take the idea from one manufacturer, or at least one game industry designer that knows how to make a good controller.
Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch coming in March.
So that was the Nintendo Switch. So, what do you think so far?
I'm loving what I'm seeing, but then of course we do have a couple of things I know you and I want to at least raise a few things of, the big question marks here. It's like, well, we got all this, we know it can likely do all this, but what about everything else? I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, take a moment, at least my idea of what it's going to transition to, in terms of like, okay, where does it go from the home end and where does it end up at, all the way down to, can you play this thing even as just one screen? And I came up with a couple of scenarios. I don't know if you want to hear them.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So, like, the first thing I noticed was, I think the console is just going to have different type of modes that it can get into. Like, the first one I want to talk about is the obvious one. Once it's home, it basically will be docked on your docking station. Right. You either put the controllers together, and I call this one home mode. Basically, the console's at its optimum performance, outputting to your HDMI, you're enjoying your games, yada, yada, yada. Then I thought that at that point, I said, all right, so if you dismount it, and let's say you want to walk around your house, because the next actual step is if you're actually wanting to play in another room or something like that. Unlike the Wii U, that if you take it too far away, you're done. It doesn't work anymore. So the next thing is that you disconnect it, you can take it, all across the house and do whatever the heck you want. That's like its portable mode within your home. Then I'm thinking, all right, the next step would be the gaming portable mode when you're on the go, which would be on the road and such, which, they did show different little ideas and such with that.
Right.
Then I thought after that, with something like a gaming portable mode, but I call it portable gaming in a pinch. What I mean by that one is the one where they put the console, just the screen, on that little holder, and then they use the little controllers to split screen Mario Kart. I call that if only one person has the console and the other person doesn't, and you just want to play something, but you're kind of, waiting for, an event, waiting for a bus or waiting for something, you can still play in a pinch.
Right.
There was one that they didn't exactly show, but I thought, this might be maybe for the person who doesn't really want to play Skyrim and Super Mario Brothers all the time with the controllers and everything. I almost thought, well, if you were to not even use the controllers either, meaning to say, if you detach the controllers, leave them home, you only take the portable unit, it's still technically a tablet. So I'm almost thinking, well, why not make little portable titles like Super Mario Run that's coming out on Apple? Why not have it on that? And that's what I'm going to call it, the portable mobile aspect of the console.
Here's the thing. Is this going to be like a PlayStation Vita or PSP, where Sony attempted to take the home experience and make it mobile? Sony failed miserably, but again, that was Sony. And they didn't really do anything really great with the PSP. You had, which were, spin-off games for their mainline series, and that was usually about it. But you never actually had anything that was really great on it. I know people who had them, but they're, most of the stuff was, stuff you get on the DS anyways.
Yeah.
But, you couldn't hook a PSP to a TV. And the PSP, you could stream the PlayStation 3, I think, and the 4 to it. But again, the game had to support it. Whereas this one, Nintendo's essentially saying, The game has to be playable on the, from what I've read, it has to be playable on the tablet. Has to be. So this also could mean there may not be, the touchscreen may be gone.
Well, no, actually, from certain other sources, mind you, these are coming from people who've confirmed like 80% of all that came out with the Switch, obviously when it was still known as the NX. They said the screen will be touchscreen, it will be multi-capacitive. The only thing that they said is that the multi-capacitive and touchscreen features of it is not the core of the console.
No, and it probably
basically
won't be part
they
of the
said
game either.
Yeah, they basically kind of said it will be used, like, let's say, when you have to actually touch something in the, maybe not in the game,
But
maybe
on
in
the
the
menus.
menu system.
Yeah.
Menus, navigation, or something like that. Certain things that makes absolute sense
'Cause one thing
to
I
use the
noticed-
screen for. But that's about where they said it's going to be, too.
One thing I noticed with the Breath of the Wild demos, no one ever used a touchscreen. I never saw anyone use the touchscreen in Breath of the Wild. Other than to make menu selections. Now we do know for the hardware is it is an NVIDIA Tegra platform. The Tegra, for those of you who don't know, is NVIDIA's ARM SoC system on chip. It is ARM based, which for most of you who don't know, ARM is what powers us at most. Pretty much every cell phone on the market, or every smartphone on the market, is an ARM chip. And this is a very beefed up version of the NVIDIA's probably Tegra. I'm thinking their 6 line, or their newest Tegra, which is probably based on Xavier, which Xavier's got some pretty nice features. Like you can do 8K video, 20 watt TDP, 512 CUDA cores. Supposedly this thing can do a teraflop.
That's nice on a little mobile. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the
on a mobile,
can be a teraflop.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, and this is what everybody's already bitching about. And I've already heard it. It uses ARM, and they're like, ARM's what you use on phones, so you're going to be getting phone games on a console. No. Yes, it uses ARM, but you know what else is ARM is RISC architecture. You know what else is used RISC architecture? PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. They both, and the Wii and the Wii and the Wii U use RISC processors. They use PowerPC chips. PowerPC is RISC, not x86. The main advantage you're going to have is with ARM, you can do some powerful computing with low power. Granted, you're not going to be able to get as much power as you would as an x86 because of the reduced instruction set, hence the term RISC, reduced instruction set computing, as opposed to CISC, complete instruction set computing. Look it up if you need more information on that. I'm not a programmer. But in any case, this will be using an ARM chip, and from what I've seen already previously, you can run Unreal Engine 4 on an ARM.
Because already Unreal Engine 4 already confirmed that they will be supporting it.
Yep, and it will support the Unity engine as well. So if Unreal Engine 4 is supported, that pretty much means most games in the market should be fine. Will this be as powerful as an Xbox One or PS4? Probably not.
It's an unknown. It's an unknown still.
No. I'm going to go ahead and say no. But I think the power isn't going to equate to quality of the game. Because remember, Xbox One or the Xbone and the PS4 both still use x86 architecture. You can get more out of ARM with less than you can with x86. Because specifically the Xbox or the Xbox One is not mainly designed as a gaming platform. It was designed as a multimedia system. Same thing with the PS4. It was designed as a entertainment system. You know, it can do Skype, it can do streaming, it can do all these other features. Oh, and it does games. Not Nintendo. Nintendo has never said, oh, and it does games. Their thing is it does games and it does all these things. So because of that, I think that Nintendo, the ARM is great for gaming, or the Tegra will be great for gaming. Not probably great if you're going to do things like streaming or anything like that. But again, that's a niche market. I think for just pure power and gaming, you can probably get comparable performance. I don't think it'll be 4K. I think it'll be still
for
1080p.
Game from a gaming aspect. Yeah, I'll agree to that. No, there's no way this is going to be in 4K.
I think it's
I
really going to be
could believe it. Yeah.
I think it's going to be more powerful than the Wii U by a lot.
Yeah. I mean, latest things I ever read about it, they said, this will be about at least the mobile unit. Again, they kept referring to it as, the mobile unit of itself is still to be about 3 to 4 times more powerful than the Wii U, which, I'm thinking, well, okay, that's already great. Just some of the portable part of it is already looking better.
Here's the question that we don't know yet. Does the docking station include any additional hardware?
That is the $1 million question.
If you plug it into the docking station, does it give it a boost in performance?
If they were not going to, excuse me, because the docking station, it's not hugely bulky, but it's bulky enough.
Here's where I think it will. In hardware and software. In other words, you plug it into the docking station. Okay, plug it in, and what will happen is because it's on AC power. It will clock up the hardware.
Yep.
When you unplug it, it'll downclock the hardware. So it's low powered. I think it's going to have the chip will be dynamic in power consumption. So, and the Tegra already does this, I believe. So yeah, the Tegra already does this, and it can scale it back because it's like, oh, I'm not plugged into a base station. I can run at lower resolution, lower power because the performance demands will be as high. When you plug it in a docking station, it goes, okay, I have more power, I can put more juice out, and I can, really, shine here. So I think that's what it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be any additional video processors built into the base station. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they here's something I do think. I think it will be upgradable. So what about
the docking station or the port or the actual console?
So let's say you could take it out of the docking station, put it in a newer one, and get newer hardware.
From the docking station point of view here.
Yeah.
So in a way, and for the viewers here, I'm going to use a really weird and a very funny little inference here. So it's like little Mario gets the mushroom, becomes Big Mario.
Yes, and then he finds the super mushroom later. And then
becomes really cool Mario. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is that right there is
laptops
actually
do
not
it already.
Laptops
do it already.
With what exactly? How do they do it?
They have a bus connector on the bottom of the laptops. You can slam it into a base station, and bam, you have a newer graphics adapter.
I also saw that same thing that Razer did, where they had an entire encased housing that would hold a graphic card inside. You would just plug it up with, I guess it's like a type of proprietary cabling.
Alienware does it.
Yeah, and it would give your laptop, you can slap on a 1080 into it from the external case, and your laptop can now, run awesome games.
They could probably do that with the Tegra.
Or do that with the Switch. At least with the Switch here, I absolutely would invite that as long as the base doesn't cost an arm and a leg on every upgrade, though.
If it's like cost as much as the system.
Yeah, let's just say if it's $100, $150 or something, I say if it's an upgrade every 3 or 4 years or every 2 or 3 years, that's not a horrible upgrade versus me paying another $400.
I'll be honest. I think that would be a better solution for Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
mainly because of the fact that what is everybody complaining about with the Xbox and the PS4?
They were good when they came out, and now it's like, great. Now we have to do another $400 investment mid generation jump.
So now they're creating a new system, and the new systems there's an upgrade, but the PS Pro and the Xbox Slim and the Scorpio to be coming soon. They didn't beef up the CPUs. All they did was beef up the graphics processors.
Matt, I'll be right back in just a second, man. I gotta get the door. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem. Bum bum ba da da. Bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum. Bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Put on some music. Oh yeah.
Sorry about that, mailman.
Jamming out to some Star Fox. All right.
We go on. Where were we here?
All right. So
docking station and upgrades.
Yeah, I think the docking station is going to be one of the big complaints about the PS Pro and the Xbox Slim was, okay, all they do is upgrade the graphics processor. The CPUs are pretty much the same. Nintendo can do that with the Switch. Throw it into a docking station, utilize a better graphics processor, but still you keep the CPU the same that's inside the tablet.
Exactly.
The Surface does this.
Yes, it actually does that. Yes,
the Surface does it, and does it really well, mind you. I think that's what's going to be happening, and Nintendo just hasn't released that part. Now, here's another question: is this going to replace the 3DS?
According to a recent source this morning in Japan's retailers, there has been confirmation it is not a successor. Therefore, they pretty much said it will not be backwards compatible with it.
Is it the successor for the Wii U? I mean, obviously it is, but
in its own light, it sort of is. But I mean, looking at the docking station from all the angles we've been able to see it, there is no. I think Nintendo's completely ditched disc. And they kind of said, done. We're just going straight cartridge at this point.
I agree with that because there's one thing I hate about the Xbox One is the fact that whenever I have to play a game, I have to load it on the hard drive. And that pisses me off.
Yep. Or obviously when you buy that brand new game, got to put it in your Xbox and then you got to still wait for it to install all the way through.
Do you have to do that with the PS4?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I don't think. And here's the thing with Nintendo. One, you probably won't have to do that. Two, you can live patch or you can patch on chip. So they say, oh, we got an upgrade patch. Okay, well, we'll load the patch onto another piece of memory on the chip rather than put the patch on the system.
Exactly.
And then because my question is with the Xbox, and it's always been this for the Xbox since they started doing this, what happens when the system goes away and you buy retro games and you don't have the way to patch it?
Oh, then they may not work, right?
No.
Hold
What
on.
happens?
So it's...
I think that's the real reason for the end of the year special editions, where everyone's always like, oh, it's all the DLC. Nope. That, and it's the final version with all the patches.
Okay, I see your point now.
Yeah. But now you don't have to do that. You can load it right on the chip. And you could do 32, 64, 128.
28, 256 if you really feel it.
You could get up to a terabyte. Or they have 512 SD cards coming out.
My gosh. That's just insane.
So you could You could theoretically, as long as the memory technology supports it, you could just via firmware keep upgrading it. Eventually, just make it as, you're not limited by the 50 gig size on a Blu-ray or the 24, 25 if you're on a single layer.
Or as Sony has unfortunately failed to tell us, for PS4 Pro, no 4K Blu-ray playback, so no ultra high def Blu-ray capabilities for your games either.
And probably no more than 2 layers for a disc. The the Xbox Slim can, the Xbone Slim can. I know I'm calling it Xbone. The Xbone Slim can because it supports 4K Blu-rays, so it can probably do 4 layers or more, like the 4K Blu-rays can.
Man, that is a whole discussion all on its own with how the way Microsoft and Sony approached this mid-generation jump.
Yep. Well, here's another thing that they do now. We do know who Nintendo has partnered with.
With
this
NVIDIA.
This is a very key thing.
It was a very bold and a very smart move.
Now the usual players are on board. Sega, you got Ubisoft,
Square Enix now,
Warner Brothers, you got Capcom, you got
Konami.
Konami, you got Activision. But you also picked up EA is back on board. Remember, they abandoned the Wii U. Activision's also back on board. They abandoned the Wii U. Take-Two and Square
Enix, they were
Epic?
praising it pretty loud.
Yep, and so they are they are embracing the third party again, which is very important for their future. If they didn't do that, Platinum Games, of course, is on board. Same with Codemasters and Atlas. That's a given. But I think this is very important for Nintendo to reestablish themselves. They have to get back into bed with third parties. So first party isn't going to keep them alive forever. And they've been riding that wave for the past 20 years. But I think with the new leadership at Nintendo, they know that they have to start embracing third party if they're going to survive. Because we will never see, I will tell you this right now, and I can bet $1 million on this. We will never see Nintendo on a third-party console.
No.
They will close their doors.
As much as people tossed and turned and complained and yapped and cried and whined and all basically said, yeah, Nintendo should just go the way of Sega, this and this and that. And I kept just trying to think back and say, Nintendo is in a much better financial situation than Sega was. Sega's demise was basically down to that Sega had no clue how to even delegate anything.
Yeah, Kimishima is a little more forward thinking than Iwata was. While everyone loves Iwata, he was very traditional with the way of Japanese business thinking. Kimishima isn't.
Kimishima's more of a modern-day Japanese businessman.
He has a Western look when it comes to business. And because of that, I think it's going to prove to work. I mean, don't forget, this is a guy who helped make Pokemon the way it is.
Yep.
And I think he's going to really... I think this is, as much as Iwata had a hand on with this, I think this will be the turn of the tide for Nintendo in terms of them being... they're still around.
Yeah, I know. They're still around. Yeah, your kids probably still use it, probably. My kids? Yeah.
Oh, Brody's excited as hell about this thing.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. Cool. We do know it is cartridge-based, like we said before. Rumors are saying 32 gigs is what the average will be, but they can go up to 50 to 64. So that's important. There could be some cloud connections to it.
That's the part that's like the other part of the $1 million question is we've at least seen the physical hardware. We don't know what's still in the inside though, but what is all going on with the entire Nintendo infrastructure in terms of the network? Now
Nintendo is building something. We know that. If you look anywhere with Nintendo, even with their job site, which I've looked at in the past, they are looking for architects, and not software architects or hardware architects, cloud architects. They are building a cloud network. We will see, and with them getting into mobile into the mobile sector, I think we're going to see a real Nintendo network of some sort. Now, we already have Nintendo Network, but I think we're going to see this be branched out into a multi-platform environment.
Yeah.
And into something where you can... I love the Miiverse and the Nintendo Network stuff on the Wii U. I think it's going to be that on steroids and multi-platform.
I think it's going to be exactly what, as we've kind of a lot have said here, is that the way how the Switch has looked as if this was what the Wii U was supposed to kind of be.
Yes.
So I feel as if the Miiverse, how it will ever be on the Switch, will be about exactly more precise to how they wanted to do it.
Right.
So hopefully we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think this will be Nintendo's... I'm not going to say it's a Hail Mary play. They still have a few more hurdles to climb still. Yeah, but I don't think it's, this is their... If this fails, they're going out of business. No. No. Pokemon Go shows that they got some staying power.
Yeah, 20 years later, that darn thing still outdoes Twitter. Yeah.
I think price point, there's rumors what it's going to be, anywhere between $350 and $400. I think that's pretty accurate. What do you think?
I don't know what to think on the pricing part to it still. I mean, for something like this, I still have to tell myself and wrap it around my head to say it's not just from the portable aspect that it's been, that's where it's trying to be marketed as. It's also the thing on the go, but also it's going to also be a home console. So I try to put all that together, and I thought $350 to $400 would be fair, would be fine. But they would really have to sell me on it.
Well, Nintendo said they're not selling it for a loss. So exactly. They already said that. So, given the average price of a Tegra chip, an LCD screen, or if it's an LCD, we don't know if it's an OLED or an LCD at this point. I'm guessing LCD. I think we're going to see it about 400. Max.
400 with the docking station,
with everything.
With the docking station included, or is the docking station probably going to be separate? What do you think about that?
No, the docking station's included.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have TV capabilities without it.
Okay.
It'll be with the docking station, 2 controllers,
and that part I thought was a little odd that they were also exploring the idea of making the little guy do like a Miracast kind of idea. So if you didn't have the actual docking station, you go to a friend's house and you want to still connect it to their TV, you can just Miracast it in some fashion.
Yeah, I don't think it'll...
That'd be interesting if they try to do that, but...
Here's another rumor, and we haven't confirmed this. Mm-hmm. The console's going to be running on Android.
Oh, the operating system itself, even though Nintendo mentioned that this was something that resembled Android, but sort of wasn't, but
yeah.
We'll see.
There have been rumors for a while that the OS is Android-based.
Good or bad thing? What do you think?
Good.
Okay.
It's a stable platform. We know it works. There's a lot of functionality and features in it that'll work. I think that if they did do, I don't think it is. Mainly because if it did, they would have already announced. They would have announced. Would you have held off announcing that you're working with Google?
Well, absolutely not. Exactly. No. Because look what happened with NVIDIA. The same day it was announced, and NVIDIA announced and said, "Yeah, we're the ones."
Well, everyone knew it was. Everyone knew it was a. Everyone pretty much knew it was an NVIDIA chip. Which, hey, also, by the way, first time Nintendo worked with NVIDIA.
Very first time, too. I mean, they completely... I don't want to make it sound bad, but pretty much ditched AMD, which I kind of have to say, the way how AMD's been going these last couple of years, let's say about the last 8 to 10 years, I don't sort of blame them.
Well, I mean, Microsoft and Sony both use them for their console. And
of course.
And also, don't forget, it wasn't that Nintendo went with AMD.
Well, it's only because of past history. That's all. Because of like the Wii U, the Wii, the N64, and the GameCube and such. All use like AMD chips.
Well, they didn't use AMD. They used ATI, which before them they were using ARTX. They pretty much just inherited, and AMD inherited everything from their predecessors.
Yeah.
Because they started with ARTX. ARTX got bought by ATI, then ATI got bought by AMD. AMD is mainly used by, for those that know, the reason why the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, and the PS4 use ATI for the most part is because of the APUs. You can get a chip that pretty much does CPU and GPU functionality and CPU functionality in one. Although I think they may have supplementary chips in them as well, but you can kind of supplement them too with other chips to make it more powerful. Yeah, if you have an AMD APU, you can put in some ATI video cards, and it'll use both of them for graphics processing.
And you kind of sort of have crossfire. Yeah, you almost have like a little crossfire power there. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
But Nintendo doesn't. But Nintendo's going with the Tegra, which the Tegra I think is a much more platform specific purpose or application specific purpose, mainly gaming and power and mobility. Which when ATI has nothing for that. And as anyone who can tell you who's used a phone before based on it, you do not use x86 on a mobile platform for gaming.
No, you don't. That thing will just drain the battery in about a minute.
Yeah, now I know. But the laptops, yes, laptops do work, but don't forget they're not exactly designed for true mobility like a tablet. Yeah, the batteries still are heavy. The batteries don't last as long, and gaming laptops are not ultrabooks.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't go in games with an Intel graphics processor; they suck so bad. But the Tegra can do it all. So, I think this is going to be where they're going to.
I have an article here that.
Oh, go ahead.
You think it was going to be what? Oh, you were saying.
I think this is going to be their. This is why Nintendo's going with NVIDIA, is because they know that the Tegra platform is kind of going to be the SoC for, or the best option for what they want to do. Other than going with x86, which they didn't want to do. I don't know why, but we know why, because of the platform they're going for. What were you reading?
There was an article here that I got it right from NVIDIA.com where they talked a little bit about it, and they said creating a device for that requires a lot of fun, also requires some serious engineering. The development encompassed 500 man-years of effort across every facet of creating a new gaming platform. Algorithms, computer architecture, system design, system software, APIs, game engines, and peripherals, they all had to rethink it and redesign it for Nintendo to deliver the best performance for gamers, whether they were in the living room or on the move. Then they said Nintendo Switch will be powered and performed by a custom Tegra processor, highly efficient, scalable processor.
This isn't going to be the one we've seen before, but it's going to be based on one of the current existing Tegra chips. I'm probably going to guess I was thinking Xavier, but Xavier's not out yet. I'm thinking the X1 or the X2 or Parker.
Because technically, I think the X2 would be more like the Pascal architecture, which is what they've got on their graphic cards now.
Well, the X1's Maxwell, which is 2 generations ago.
No, previous one, I think, because now we're on Pascal, and I know Maxwell was the one prior.
Yeah, you're right. God, I hate the NVIDIA code names.
I know, me too.
Although, if for those that don't know, their code names for the Tegra chips are all superheroes.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Let's see. The first one was Krypton, and then Zod, and they've had Wayne, Logan, Kal-El, Gray, Logan. Yeah, the X1 is actually called Arista. I don't know what that one's in reference to, but I know the new one's Parker. The X2 is Parker.
Yeah, the X2 would be Parker. Here's just one last little tidbit to their, to what they stated here. The Nintendo Switch gaming experience is also supported by Yeah, by a fully custom software including revamped physics engine, which is always good, new libraries, advanced game tools and libraries. NVIDIA has additionally created new APIs to fully harness the performance with an NVN, which I don't know what that stands for, was built specifically to bring a lightweight, fast gaming to the masses. How interesting.
Yeah. Well, the X1 is currently used in another device for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Shield.
The Shield. Mm-hmm.
The Shield uses the X1.
Which I've heard has been doing okay, just not as good as NVIDIA has been, wanting it to do.
No, because the Shield was supposed to compete, I think, with the Steam boxes.
Yeah, which never took off.
No, they didn't. But I think this is a smart move with NVIDIA to say, okay, well, we tried this. Let's go with the guys that kind of know what they're doing.
And let's work with them and make something that can make some magic happen.
Yeah. And let's also forget what they canceled.
Oh,
they canceled the Shield tablet line.
Yeah, that's right. Because there was only about one tablet.
The K1.
That was the K1 or the Pixel, I think it was called, the Pixel C from Google.
The tablet K. Yeah, there was the tablet K1. The tablet K1.
And from a couple people, and from the only people who ever owned it, they said the thing actually has pretty darn good battery life.
Yeah, and it's a very good system. But it looks like the Switch is kind of going to be the successor for that. I'm kind of wondering how much of this is really Nintendo and how much of it's really NVIDIA.
I would, if I had to give you a percentage, I feel as if it's about, it could be 60-40, could be 55-45, and I'm talking the bigger number probably being a little more, probably.
On NVIDIA?
Being on NVIDIA's side, probably.
Yeah. I think this is their
Nintendo probably had to tell them, here's what we want to try, here's what we want to achieve, and what can you do?
I think what it eventually was is I think NVIDIA went to Nintendo and said, you guys want a new console? Here you go.
Yep.
Wouldn't be the first. Hey, guess
well,
what?
Let's talk about some unknowns here. I mean, like
guess what other popular devices were like that? Pretty much every Apple device.
That's true. That's very true.
The iPod wasn't created by Apple.
So we talked about price. We've talked. No. Yeah, there was somebody else who made that supposedly.
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
So we've talked about pricing. We've talked about internal specs a little. Well, sort of internal specs. We've talked about the docking station. And the touchscreen idea. What about goodness? What about the big question? Battery life. What do you think?
8 hours.
8 hours. I would love to be as optimistic as you are, but I don't know. I almost feel as if that this little guy is going to probably crank out anywhere between like 4 to 5 hours, and I could be wrong, but reason being, it's like, here we have the Nintendo Wii U tablet, and it's not exactly a tablet that's got a lot of processing parts into it, but yet it's only able to get like 3 hours out of itself, which is really weird. And even on the 3DS, again, another little piece of hardware that the hardware wasn't exactly all the bleeding edge. I
can run on 3DS for about 18 hours.
Well, do you play on it
for a very long time if you're not using 3D?
Well, yeah, that too. Either that, or you're just playing nothing but all your SNES games and NES games on it. But if you're playing it as you normally would, let's just say minus out the 3D effect off the 3DS, it still only cranks out about 5 hours if you're just playing a 3DS game, with no 3D. It just gets me kind of wondering. But yeah, you know what? If they get 8 hours, they already got my money. I already, boom, there, pre-ordered, done.
Yeah, 3D gaming on a DS is 3 to 5.5 hours. So, exactly. DS gaming is 6 to 10.
6 to 8, 6 to 10 or so. Yeah, that definitely was there. I mean, they've always had a pretty good average of keeping their portables, running fair. I just don't know for something of this magnitude. I'm just here thinking, man, guys, I mean, if you can crank it out to 5 hours, I think people won't be as slightly let down.
Yeah.
But if you go for like 3 hours or something, I don't know. At something like that, I mean that's sort of a deal breaker.
It's a tablet system, and from someone who's used to making tablets, so you're dealing with that up front. So you're not dealing with a mobile. I mean the 3DS runs on a system specific
Pico processor, if I recall.
Yeah, but we're talking about NVIDIA here. By the way, 3DS is an ARM architecture as well. This is a mobile. This is a processor that we use in tablets, so it's already got itself. They've got some engineering work already done. There's probably a very optimized chipset. I think they could maybe stretch it for. I'm hoping 5-6 hours. I'm hoping.
Same here. If they can land it at 5 to 6, I got you, man. No worries. 5 to 6 hours, they got me. I'll pay the darn thing. If you got me at 3 hours, I don't know, guys. You're gonna have to really sell me on a couple other things before I even really drop.
Here's a couple questions I want to know. One, is it compatible with any of the current Wii or Wii U equipment, like the Pro Controllers?
Which I don't know. I mean, from others, from the retail statements in Japan, that's looking to be a no. This is not something that's going to carry the Wii name on its on its back. In this case, it's just going to start all new.
Well, Virtual Console continued to live.
Oh, of course. That's actually the more important one that I'm thinking. If we've already bought certain games on the VC at this point already, and Nintendo has been trying to revamp up the Nintendo ID stuff and trying to make it now a little bit easier from the website perspective, but still not from the 3DS and not from the Wii U. But I think Nintendo at one point, they got to turn on their new service and say, let's look at every single thing everybody's bought and let's see what can be moved over at least to the Switch.
Now let's talk about the one important thing, the most important thing of any console, the
games.
What are we going to see? Now we know we're going to get Breath of the Wild. Now,
that given.
We know that's coming no matter what. So we're getting Breath of the Wild, but are we going to get one? Or we got a Mario game. Looks like it's been developed. Looks interesting. Skyrim. I think there's a new Skyrim update coming.
It's the new HD remastered version of the game, which, look, I like the game. I put a lot of time into it myself. A lot of people did in this case. Not from Nintendo. It's really nifty to just even know that it's coming to a Nintendo platform. That part's cool.
Yep, we see that. Yep.
But do we really want to toss another 200 hours into the same game we just played 6 years ago?
Why not? Rocksteady's betting that on Batman. Will we see more? We see Breath of the Wild. We saw Skyrim. Looks like we're going to see. We know Just Dance. We know Just Dance 2017 is coming out.
Yep. So Dragon Quest 11.
Yep. We know there's some Sonic games coming out from Sony.
Sega has mentioned, yes, there's a brand new one. Sega said they will be bringing a new Sonic title for it, which they have not announced or said anything about it yet.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
Project Sonic 2017, I think it's called.
I believe so.
Yeah, along with Sonic Mania.
Oh my gosh, cool. I can't wait to try that game. Going back old school.
and we saw Splatoon, and we saw
Mario Kart.
Which Mario Kart looked like Mario Kart 8. I think
Mario, and that's what it might end up being. I think what Nintendo may end up, and this will be a decently smart move to do, for the people who never bought a Wii U, but obviously they still do like Nintendo. It's just maybe the Wii U just didn't tickle their fancy. But if they missed out on Mario Kart 8, they missed out on Super Smash Bros., they missed out on certain key big titles from the Wii U that were very good, such as also Splatoon. I think it's a fairly good idea to say, let's bring them right into the Switch in this case, although they do have to play it fairly, they have to play it smart too, where they'll say, if you've already owned it already, either A, the transition will either be you just get a free copy of the new one, which, I mean, knowing Nintendo, nothing really comes for free. They may end up telling you, instead of paying $60 again for the darn game, you only have to pay $30, or you only have to pay $20. So you can get the Switch version of the game at least, and you can still go. Obviously, if you never own the game, you pay the full price.
Yeah.
But again, that's just me. That's just the way I think I would have approached it. But then again, I could be approaching it all wrong.
No, I think you're right. I think they'll just port older titles over and with newer with some added functionality specifically for the Switch, and do it that way. I could see that.
At least a few, maybe for the first year. Well, and again, maybe not to say the entire lineup is going to be rehashed Wii U games, but have a little portion to say you got. For anyone who didn't really try it out, go ahead and try them now because they're great games and they deserve to be played.
By the way, Breath of the Wild looks fantastic.
Oh, I know, dude. I can't wait.
So pretty.
Can't freaking wait.
All right. So final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I mean, like anybody at this point, it's all the big unknowns that we don't know about. As the months keep rolling on, hopefully we'll be fed a little more information. I think Nintendo is in a very interesting position to, is it going to take back all of Sony's little sales and such? I mean, I know we're still talking about there's a console we're still going, but there really isn't anymore. Sony clearly is already ahead of everyone, and that's fine. Microsoft's going whatever weird where they're going with Windows and trying to turn Xbox into a platform that's very different. Let them do their own thing. That's fine. And Nintendo, as mostly everyone said, this was a clear sign saying they are not conforming and they will not just simply, just beat to the drum that everybody else does. They beat to their own.
I think similarly. I think this is not Nintendo's Hail Mary at all. I don't think this is their last grasp at a successful console.
I see it as they found themselves again, hopefully.
I see this as a natural progression of where they wanted to go with the Wii U. I see this as being what the Wii U should have been, not what it was. The Wii U was a big stumble, but I think this is them kind of course correcting themselves. The fact it's mobile and it can be a console and be a portable tablet is something that, while not entirely new, we've seen similar things in the past with some Android tablets. It's the first time we've seen an actual one of the big three really embrace this technology. We already know it's as powerful at least as the Wii U, which the Wii U is already more powerful than the Xbox 360 and the PS3. So we know that already going into it. It's probably going to be comparable in power with the docking station to the PS4 and the Xbox.
Which I'm hoping so too. I really hope so.
It'll probably downgrade itself when you remove it. I like it's on cartridges.
I
hate CDs. Sorry, it's just me. It's cheap, medium, easy.
Do you think the docking station is going to have a hard drive or anything? Because there's USB ports at the front and the side.
No, but I think it's going to have some. It's probably going to have some big internal storage. Like a tablet. It's probably going to, and I think this is actually going to be a really successful move for Nintendo. I think they're going in the right direction. If they want to fix if they want to course correct their company. The DS is still making money, the DS platform is still making money. I think this may replace the DS platform. I know it's not what you want to hear, but I do, and they haven't said it is. But right now, the DS is their money maker. They're not going to threaten that right now.
No.
Now. But
if this little guy takes off,
the new 3DS will be the last DS we see.
In that family platform side, absolutely so. Yes, I don't think there's going to be
another. I think we may see a spin-off of the Switch in the future that's purely mobile. Maybe the size of a phone.
Oh, that would be interesting. At least something to give. Oh my gosh! Watch them announce something like that.
The Switch phone.
Maybe.
Food for thought.
I know that one was rattled around in the vines of the rumor. It's the grand vine a little bit around. Nintendo may be going into phone designs or something like that.
But again, that's just me speculating. So who knows? I think this will, if they keep it at a good price point, about $350, $400, they'll be fine. Don't put it over $400.
Yeah, over $400 is already pretty murky.
Keep it at $350, you're perfect. Over $350, every dollar you go up over $350, you're pushing it harder and harder. You're redlining it at that point, and you're really risking it. You go over that $400, you're blowing the engine.
Pretty much, I totally agree with that. Yeah, $350 at, let's say, like, because it now comes back to with the big part to it, battery life, or one of the bigger parts into the components, battery life to it. 350, you give me 5 hours, you got my money. $400 at 5 hours. I might still get it. I will probably likely still get it. But anything over that, and you're only giving me 3 to 4 hours or 3 to 5 hours of gameplay, it's a no for a while.
Yep. All right. Well, that ends this episode of 4TW Live. Be sure to check out our website at 4TWnetwork.com. And Mario, where can they find you online?
Mostly on Facebook, just as Mario Banegas. That's where I'm at.
And, of course, you can find me on Facebook at Maciejewski or Matthew Maciejewski, or do a search for Admiral Joker. And I am on Twitter at Admiral Joker. One day I will tweet again. So, for everyone here at 4TW Network, have a good day.
Have a good one.